Hello everyone, my name's Louise and I'm from York St John University. I'm here to talk today about employability and how to talk about your skills. So we've already had two really good sessions on interviews and on how to get that work experience. So I'm now going to talk about how we put all that together. So what are employability skills? So these are the transferable skills that make somebody employable. So this is what an employer looks for. It's what people in interviews look for. It's what we look for in applications to university. So these are the kind of skills that you can transfer between one thing to another. So a really good example is communication skills. You might have developed that by being part of a football club or being part of a drama club or whatever it might be. But then you can apply those skills to all different areas of your career, of your course, of your general life. And employers look for these skills because we believe that it will help you carry out that role in the best way possible. So you can think of these as portable skills or skills that you can pick up from one area of life and basically put down in another area of life. And you can gain these skills at any point in time, as has already been mentioned, just by doing things in your local community, by getting involved in school or college or university. There's all different ways that you can gain these skills. So here is just a few examples of the skills that employers tend to be looking for. If you Google transferable skills or the top questions that you get asked in interview, chances are a few of these will pop up. So can you give me an example of a time that you've solved a problem? Can you give me an example of a time that you've demonstrated your organisational skills? So those questions are being asked because they want to find out about the skills that you have. So just have a look at these, start thinking about which ones you might already have, which ones you might want to develop a little bit further. So, employability matters for everyone, obviously. If you're wanting to get a job straight out of school or college, then of course it's something that you need to be thinking about maybe a bit sooner. But equally for those who are interested in university, obviously the university market is very competitive and the graduate market is competitive as well. So it's about the things that you do alongside what you're expected to do. So at university, everyone is expected to do a degree. That's just the common sense side of it, and that's what you go to university for. But if you're on a course of 20, 30, 50, 100 people, and those 100 people all come out with the exact same degree, what do you have, or what have you done that's made you stand out? That is what your employability is all about. And it's about showcasing your employability. So equally, students who are interested in applying for apprenticeships will need to showcase their skills a little bit earlier so that they don't have that kind of 3 years of university to build up those skills. They need to demonstrate that they're ready for the world of work right now. So there's lots of different ways that you can do that. So why might you go to university? Obviously, for some for some professions, it is necessary. You can't go into that profession without it. So as much as I'm saying there are people who might want to go straight into the world of work, if you want to be a doctor, a dentist, a vet, you can't just walk into the workplace. You have to have a degree. And part of that is obviously the subject knowledge, but the other side of that is the skills that you might develop through university as well. It may help you progress quicker than non-graduates, and part of the reason is that some jobs will say that you need to have a degree. It doesn't matter what the degree's in, but again, it's some of those skills that might be involved in your degree. It's personal achievement, it's internationally recognised. I know a few people were asking questions about studying abroad or going to different countries, and it is a way to invest in your future as well. So as I've already mentioned there, what makes you stand out? If you've been to college or you've been to sixth form and you've done a qualification, absolutely brilliant, and we look for that in UCAS applications, but what else have you done? What have you done outside of that? And that's what we look for in personal statements. So if you're applying to university through UCAS, you put down all of your subject information and you'll also do a personal statement. And it's in that personal statement that we find out a little bit more about you as a person. So you're in competition with other people. That's how our job market works. You will apply for the same job as multiple other people, and you are competing to be the best person for that job. So what makes you different to every other person? Have you volunteered? Have you held a part-time job? Have you raised money for charity? What skills and hobbies do you have? Do you do something in your spare time? And these might not be big colossal things like Duke of Edinburgh, or it might not be, you know, that you've worked part-time since you were 2, but it might just be things like Caroline said about helping out in the community, or having a hobby that involves a certain skill set. So I know a lot of people at the moment are engaging a lot more online, or they are taking part in online games tournaments, and that might seem very normal to you, but for somebody else that might be very impressive, and it demonstrates a lot of skills. So how to talk about your skills. This links back to the interview presentation as well. And it is something that people hate doing. Nobody likes talking about themselves. If I said to you, what are you really bad at? Chances are something's popped to your head like that. For me, it's maths. Absolutely rubbish at maths. But if I said, what are you really, really good at? It does take you a little bit longer to come up with something, because as human beings, we're almost conditioned to not talk about what we're good at. It's seen as bragging, or it's seen as, you know, playing yourself up a little bit. But interviews and applications, that is what it is. It's there for you to sell yourself. There's lots of different ways to do it, and if you Google interview techniques or interview schedules or strategies, loads of things come up. There's the STAR technique, there's all sorts, but the easiest one for me to remember is ABC, because we've known it since we were children. So A stands for activity. Tell us what you did and be precise. B stands for benefit. So what skills or knowledge or experience did you get out of that? Don't just leave it at, oh, I just played football. What did you get out of it? And then C stands for, how did this activity or benefit relate to the course or career that you're interested in? So this ABC can be applied to university. The C stands for course. Or if you're interested in applying for jobs, you just change the C to the career. So you just change it depending on what you're actually interested in at that moment in time. So ABC. For A, don't just say that you've had work experience in a school, for example. That doesn't tell me what your responsibilities were. It doesn't tell me what you actually did. And I always think it's really important to say that people can have the same opportunities, but some people make more of those opportunities. So person A and person B could have gone and had work experience in a school. One person could have sat at the back of the classroom and just watched. The other person would have got involved, and they would have asked for more responsibilities, and they would have taken on extra duties. So you've got to talk a little bit about that experience to make it valuable. For B, don't just list skills. Don't just say communication, teamwork, networking, all those types of things. Give examples of a time that you've used it and that it's been of benefit to you. And then for C, don't just name drop the course and career, demonstrate that you've done your research. As was mentioned earlier in another presentation, if you can demonstrate that you know a bit about the course or career you're interested in, that really impresses the person who's reading your application or who is doing the interview. So I've done a really, really quick example. So during college, I worked part-time at a local sports club. So that's A, but that's not enough from A. So then you'd go on and say, I was responsible for the management of kit and resources. I was also in charge of social media and created adverts and posts to encourage sign up. So you've told me your responsibilities and your roles. So B, this allowed me to develop my graphic design skills and my awareness of social media influence. It also helped me organize with my organizational skills through my kit check routine, etc. So they've not just said I've developed my graphic design skills and organizational skills, they've given me 2 examples of a time that they've done that. And I understand this experience and skills will be useful for my degree in sports management. Okay, you've name dropped the career. My graphic design skills will benefit me during my portfolio module, and I'm enthusiastic about continuing to be involved in clubs during my degree and throughout my placement year. So they've demonstrated to me that they know there's a portfolio module, so they've done the research. They also know that there's a possibility of a placement year. So again, they've demonstrated that they've gone above and beyond. They've not just name dropped something, they've put in a lot of detail there. So that is how ABC works. So hopefully that's useful. Take this away with you, use it, or come up with another strategy that suits you. But it just means that if you followed those steps, chances are you've included every part. So examples of professions with certain skills, I won't read all of these out, but you might start to think about a career or a job that you want to go into and what skills are beneficial for that career. So obviously, to be a primary school teacher, you'll need some patience. You're working with young people. To be a police officer, you'll need to be responsible and act in a professional manner. So start thinking about what kind of skills you might need to develop for your future career. And then gaining skills at university. So chances are you've already done some of these. Playing sports, joining a society, volunteering, getting involved with the student union, studying abroad as it's been mentioned earlier, part-time work or work experience. You've already built up skills. As I've already mentioned about online gaming, that might seem to you as something that is just run of the mill every day. There's no skills involved in it, but it shows that you've got networking skills, communication skills if you're playing a team sport. It shows that you've got some understanding of IT. You know, so there is a lot of ways that you can talk about the things that you do day to day, but link skills to that as well. So start to have a think about what you do every day, what you do when you're out of school or college, and think about what skills are involved in that, because every single person does have skills. And then if you are interested in going to university, or if you're kind of on the fence about it, university can just give you the opportunity to develop those skills a little bit further. So becoming more independent, or increasing your subject knowledge or your research skills, or challenging yourself. So that's outside of the actual degree. People might choose to go to university because they want to develop those employability skills even further. So as I've already said, just take a moment to think about what you've already done so far. As Caroline said, take some time to think about what you've done during this lockdown. Have you been involved in organising quiz nights for families or friends? Have you been helping out in your community? Those all have skills involved, and it is really, really valuable. It doesn't have to be something with a certificate or a qualification for it to be of value to a university or to an employer. People have been mentioned what work experience can I have. You know, you can do things on social media, you can create an online portfolio. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a black and white, you know, printed out version of something. We can be more technologically advanced nowadays. So think about all of those things that you might have already done, or think about things that you might want to do in the future. And then you can just start ticking off all of those skills. And sometimes it's just literally a buzzword that you can mention in an interview and say, you know, I've got this skill, which was mentioned in the applicant form, and this is how I've developed it, and this is the benefit that I've got from it.